And even though this has been telepathically started, this just means the Hue expansion ray is moving through me from master teachers I work with, and through Perry, and through all of you, both of you. And it begins to make changes to Earth that you don't need to be aware of. It's too big or too vast for a single atma to contain what the Hue expansion ray does as an omnipresent living power. It'll come through you and make changes to people and individuals, end wars, and do all kinds of strange things. Mostly to get people to participate in their own survival. To get them to be part of, not destroying themselves. And so we want to get the numbers up. If we get 150 million people involved in this work, the feature films will be out, and the world will be transformed. That's a very big doorway for the Hue to come through to recharge Earth's H2O and water systems. So, as you're all becoming aware of now, this work was always focused on that goal. Beyond the guided journeys, it's focused on raising the vibration of the Hue in Earth's atmosphere, which is depleted enough so that it can sweep around the world and make great change that no one couldn't possibly understand. They'll just be amazed to watch it take place. And to be consciously a part of it as you are, that's very special. They'll become part of it whether they like it or not. Fear in most people causes them much agony and suffering when great change sweeps through them and around them that they don't understand. The difference is you two, Perry and myself, will understand, do understand. This gives us a great advantage. It makes it possible for us to help others who will be in desperate need of our assistance when such drastic changes take place to this world. That is a communication directly from Source itself. I didn't need Turelian or Satnam or these other wondrous beings to tell me that. I just get that directly. We're all capable of doing that. It does take some practice and some exercise of dormant faculties, waking up things that we haven't used in many lifetimes, had forgotten long ago, before you ever got caught up in the last 500,000 years of reptilians and greys and all that. After the Great War ended, the Cold War continued. That Cold War is over. There's no Cold War now outside of Earth's atmosphere. Reptilians, greys are not a threat. They aren't even in our solar system anymore. This work is the only place on this planet right now at this time where such direct experiential truth is revealed to people. It cannot come through people on Earth who are operating partially in fear of the present and future. They will not be aware of it. I don't care if they're in the UFO community, the extraterrestrial disclosure community, or any of those areas. They won't know it. They'll know it when they drop enough fear, and then they'll suddenly be aware of it. It's like they don't know there's a galactic interdimensional alliance of free worlds. They don't even know that. So far, they've become aware of certain minor groups within the Galactic Alliance. But that's it. We want to change that. When we go on these journeys, we work with the first sound behind all creation. The Hue. First half of the word human, hidden right in plain sight. People have no idea. Working with that, making a sound from the vocal cords or silently, visually inside, where you see and hear it in your imagination. Your imagination is not fantasy. It's not made up in the brain. It's actually the ability to look and see into the multiverse and know things. That is what imagination really is. People on Earth who grow up not learning one teeny tiny thing about Star Wars or Avatar or Close Encounters or any of that stuff, didn't learn it in film school, suddenly are Getting into a trance state, you get into as an author, and you write feverishly, and you're all excited, and you put down on paper things that are flowing into you, things that you're seeing. That's what authors really do. They're actually writing about things that exist somewhere, like as Kwan brought up before we started the recording. Can we go to the place where there are elves and dwarves and gnomes and fairies and dragons and all this kind of thing? They do exist, but not in the physical universe where Earth is. It's in the next higher parallel dimension. There is a doorway through Land's End in Cornwall, England, in the back of a farmer's field, by a big pointed rock inside a cluster of oak trees. And it is a guarded portal between here and another location of illumination and masterful beings at work in that realm. Usually the realms do not cross over, but there are people who get out of their bodies. They think it's astral, it's not, and they're able to see into this realm or bring it back from a meditation or a dream at night, and they write about it. These kinds of things take place in the second higher parallel dimension out of 144 that comprises what we call the physical dimension. It's a multi-layered dimension. You'll first find this out in this work, and as far as I know, nowhere else on Earth yet. Not organized, not in a specific knowing way. This is being imparted to you by master teachers, Satnam, Source. This is not my domain. I don't own this information because I don't give you information. I only provide a doorway telepathically for direct experience. And that direct experience of the you coming through you changes your consciousness. Actually is not mindless entertainment at all, but it is entertaining. It's not the purpose of it, though. We'll go into the hue 6 times, rather. Stepped up from the 5 times we did for a few years. Now it's 6, which means we are accessing the void each time we do this, and connecting to the shoreline of Satnam's realm, just in the first 6 hues. So we're adding our part into that journey, because when we're done visiting certain places, for your benefit, we will go to Source. We will go to Satnam's realm and we'll go to Source, because you gain great benefit by moving energy through you that has no negative nature whatsoever. It grows on us, it rubs off on us, and we bring it back to our lives on Earth. It passes through us when we're walking down the street after a journey, when we're going to the store, and it changes people and things around you. You do not and should not have to be aware of what Satnam or other beings do, not through you, they don't use you, but around you. The hue expansion ray is something that is what you are at the core of your being anyway. But we're connected to an omnipresent field of energy of it, and it's moving through us all the time. The real trick here about enlightenment is to wake up and be aware this one power is moving through us, and that we are made of this one same energy from Source. We always have been. It has never been different. Knowing this alone will permanently change your life, your awareness, and make it possible for you to step into new realms and new places. The ability to see and know things that a short time ago you couldn't comprehend. Now on Earth you can comprehend a lot more than you could. This is the way you measure just how much more enlightened and brilliant, how much higher your IQ is. Because what you take for granted now that you know, other people on Earth could not know it to save their lives. Not yet. I will begin the hues out loud with my vocal cords. All my body is in the trance state called sleep, just like yours. I have developed the ability, through much effort and work, with masterful beings to be able to do this for your benefit. So somebody has to be a conscious vehicle through which the conscious you moves in order for it to awaken that consciousness within you. It's not my power. I don't own it. I don't possess the hue. I would never dream of trying to hold on to it or possess it. It's a living power that cannot be held onto or attached to by anyone. Doesn't matter what they believe, what they think religiously, or anything else. It cannot be grasped in their hands. Now, most people understand what they call divine spirit can't be grasped in their hands either, but they don't really know what it is or how to work with it consciously. They just pray to it. And that's okay for a time. But eventually we have to start working consciously with it and leap beyond faith and belief and step into the next step. The natural next step at some point is to wake up in the hue as a spherical being, as the atom, as the soul that you are. There's no shortcut for this. We just have to do it. And that goes for me as much as it does for you or anyone else. I'll begin the hues now. Do them with me, silently inside. When I'm sending out the hue, or rather it's coming through me through my cooperation, I can see this doorway, this hourglass-shaped portal form in space outside of Earth and connect, bypassing the lower planes, into the void and all the way to the shoreline of Satnam's realm. First, higher reality above the void. There's no negative nature, no opposites, no time, no space, no planets, no moons, no suns, no stars, no galaxies up there. What is there is held in place by beings, called a manifestation or a projection. And there are beings that hold that in place for billions, even trillions of years. Silent mentors are the beings I'm referring to. They maintain the mechanics. It's hard for people on Earth to even comprehend that such beings can exist that do not get bored, they don't get tired, they don't get fatigued, they do not have bodies, they do not eat, they do not sleep, ever. Nor do they need it. We are Atmas. We're of the same general capability. So they serve as examples of what we can be. And if we wish to, they can help us become that as well. I would recommend, however, setting your sights on being a blend of silent mentor and master teacher. The training you would go through to become a silent mentor, and they really don't need more of them, would be more than you could comprehend or probably withstand. So how those beings became like that, it's beyond me. Maybe some of them were always like that, but I know there are others that have joined the ranks of the silent mentors over billions of years. And they have to go through quite some testing. I don't think any of us really need to do that or would really want to do that. We are becoming a new order of being in creation. I don't know what they would be called, but it is a blending of silent mentor and master teacher. When we go on these journeys, they're on both sides of us at all times. The silent mentors appear at the bottom of the vortex, but they're really up in the upper worlds. They're stationed all over the physical universe as well, but they never, ever actually become part of physical reality. They don't have bodies. They're not part in the illusion of running on a planet Earth like, oh, I'm a body on Earth running around in this dimension. They do not have any of those limitations whatsoever. That would be against their would be contrary to their purpose for maintaining the creation. They cannot have any limitations held over them, or they couldn't do their job. You want to talk about dedication? You look at a silent mentor. Now that's real dedication. It's not for a billion years. It's not temporary. It's permanent. They don't shirk their responsibility. They don't try to get out of it. They have no negative nature. And they are still Atmas, twice as big as us and twice as many layers of faculties than we have, but they need them. There's no dirt, no negative imaginations, no subconscious mind floating around the outside of the spherical being they are. In the electromagnetic field we call the aura. It's not there. They don't have any such limitation around them. And if they can do it, we can do it. If I am capable of sharing with a few people, fortunate ones on this planet, these direct experience-based journeys, and I was able to get through what certain tyrant beings thought was impossible for me to do, to recover, and I can do it, then you can too. This is the principle, one of the greatest truths in creation. Whenever a being gets free from this trap, they are motivated in every way possible to help others get free of this trap as well. What else is there to do that's really constructive after that? When you imagine yourself going to the store, it's the same as simply looking at what your body looks like while you're floating up near the ceiling where your home is, as a spherical being. Because that's what you really are. That's what you've always been. People on earth call it soul, but they've long forgotten and are terrified subconsciously to remember what it is they are. Because if they remember that, they have to be responsible co-creators with the source. And they just want it done to them. They don't want to have to lift a finger. That's the baby steps of life, what you would call a spiritual life. It's the beginning steps. Later on, we have to assume a greater responsibility in eternity. It's our destiny to be conscious, trustworthy co-creators with the source behind all life. We cannot escape it. In reality, none of you would want to, because the door to real freedom is only through that door. When we start to accept responsibility for this failed experiment of good and evil, from the highest worlds down to the lowest, we begin to become more conscious and more masterful, like those that have come before us. Because once they've accepted that responsibility, their job is to help others accept that responsibility, so collectively we can actually change the way Earth is mismanaged, the way the lower worlds are misrun in that the experiment of suppression and guilt and fear and sadistic torture and all that stuff exists in only the lower planes, and far worse as a contrast on planet Earth in the lowest of planes. Because in reality, everything that is hell and heaven exists on this planet. There's no other separate place called hell. I know people are taught that on Earth because it's a good way to keep the status quo going. Keep people split in half between good and bad, heaven and hell, and then you can control them. I'm not blaming the leaders of religions or politics, because it was done to them too. They all need to get free of this trap. This is not a freedom you gain by having a palace around your body, or expecting to run that body for 1 billion years. You would not want to immortalize a body on Earth the way it is. It would be a worst trap imaginable, as you'd be stuck in the illusion of being a body for that length of time. There are beings that have been stuck in the illusion of being a body for that length of time. You don't want that. To have an immortalized form, you have to know that it's done for a specific and purposeful reason and co-create harmony with the source. Then it makes sense. Master Ramu, Master Opelum, Etendin, Lightsea, well, Lightsea I can't really count in that. He has an etheric body only and works above the void as well. But the other masters have bodies in all the planes, like we do. They use them quite differently than you're using yours now in the astral, causal, mental, and etheric. Because they aren't unconscious in any of those forms they're running. So that rubs off on us too when we go on these journeys with them. What I mean by rubbing off on you, it's not really them that rubs off on you. It's the U expansion ray moving freely and in an uninhibited way through them and through you. It hits many places of resistance in your body and in your conscious, the field of energy around the Atma on its way. It begins to clear those things out of the way. Most of them are subconscious, meaning you're not even conscious of the fears you carry. As we move further in this journeys, you become more aware of the fears you carry, but also more aware that they are just a program and are artificial. They are not real. Fear is artificial and implanted. It is not a real emotion of an Atma at all. Why would we want to have fear as part of our makeup? We come from that place where there is no negative nature. So how did we pick up so much of it on our journeys in the lower worlds? This journeys reverse that process. It's like going from total trapment to all the way back to freedom in the upper world. And we have to undo those tight knots of self-delusion and illusion carefully so that your body survives the journey. Because if you had its way directly, it'd just fry your bodies into a puff of powder and set you free. A lot of you would be shocked for a long time if that took place. Better you wake up gradually and be part of the experience of recovering who you are and how to utilize your higher faculties. Some of them have not been used for so many billions of years. It takes a while to not only turn them on, but get you used to how to use them right. So you imagine yourself near the ceiling looking at your body, and beside you is beings like Shantiel and Tonaltiel and Dantiel and Lamtiel and many others, whose names have not been mentioned to any of you because it would too much complicate issues for you on Earth. So just two couples' names are introduced and what they look like, so you have a basic understanding of what others who are assigned to you look like as well. The rest is up to you. The white golden light of the omnipresent hue expansion ray that is outer space, in which all little galaxies and planets and moons and suns and stars float. In electromagnetic gravitational fields they create by turning on their axis or revolving around each other. Kind of common sense. They create little vortexes like dimensional doorways, like the hourglass one. Same kind of vortex exists in the middle of the galaxy at the core, at the axis. They spin because they create these openings, these worlds between different rates of vibration. This is much higher science, folks. Much higher understanding of how the universe is constructed. It's more of a training of silent mentors, you might say. They know all about how the different dimensional doorways work to support all creation, more than master teachers know individually. Some master teachers know a lot, like Turelian. Satnam knows all about them, but it's not his job to maintain them. His job is actually to supervise the Purushas or guardian managers of all the dimensions below the void. The old system made it so that positive and negative things flowed through those guides, those gods people pray to, and their purpose was not to set anybody free, and they haven't. That is changing. That also has to change. The lower worlds of time and space are a trap for the Atma, but they weren't originally designed to be a trap. It just happened. Our experience collectively is what is undoing that trap. Not just the few on Earth, but billions outside of Earth who go on these journeys, many of whom in the Galactic Alliance that teach in the Hue Expansion Ray Academy now. for the first time that has to be manned by someone. The energy flowing down through you is passing through the man and woman to your left and right that are showing you a 36-year-old perfectly formed male and female body, beautiful and handsome. And the atmas that are the spheres hovering above the forms they're projecting. You're doing exactly the same thing right now for them. It is not something you ever forgot how to do. Since the very beginning, before the lower worlds were built, we showed each other this human appearing type form. The first prototype for that is Satnam himself. Now you know. Had to start somewhere. I'm not sure that Satnam created that form all by himself. There are other beings, silent mentors too, that were involved. But that goes back in history so far above the lower worlds that we don't even want to try to approach exploring that yet. The energy moves through you, through your sleeping body in the trance state called sleep, moves around you in the electromagnetic field surrounding your body, what people call the aura. It's just an energy field. And it moves around your subconscious blocks. The master teachers see to that. And these guardians, these guides from the Galactic Alliance that are assigned to you do that as well. They keep all subconscious programs turned off for the journey. They're still there. You still have to master them when you return. But they keep them turned off so when you go to the upper realities, you're bringing back energy that cannot be received any other way and brought back to Earth except by you going to where that energy is, merging with it and coming back here. That's how it works. If it was just dumped on your head, it would work its way through every block and resistance and negative feeling and fear you have and burn it out. Probably would destroy your physical bodies in the process. But then it would only be interested in the survival of the Atma, not your physical body. So the shock needs to be far less than that to make good change. The way this is being presented to you in this one little journey has never been presented this way to anyone before on Earth. It is unique. Part of it is because of connecting, keeping our feet on the ground in a way. I don't mean your physical feet, but a grounded perspective of the Atma itself, running bodies in all the planes. When we go to this place, Rahakaz, it's the name of reality in the parallel dimension above the Earth. Second, there are doorways on Earth in certain locations. Maybe one day I'll be allowed to take you to them. Physically. There are doorways to other dimensions on this planet. Tyrants wanted to get a hold of those doorways. Unfortunately for us, they are guarded by the silent mentors. So that would have never really happened. But they would destroy whole planets trying to do it. They would have destroyed Earth already if they'd gotten away with it. They were stopped. Not by anybody on Earth. The more people become aware of this, that none of the little silly willies on Earth had anything to do with saving their own lives from nuclear war, the better off they will be. This must come about. What is underway from the source behind all life? Believe me when I tell you it cannot be reversed. It is not designed in the lower worlds, and it cannot be reversed by any power, being, or technology, or alien or extraterrestrial race in all of the lower dimensions of time and space. It is quite beyond their purview, quite beyond their capability. And it's moving through all of them now for their betterment. And it's not just for people on Earth, it's for people in all the parallel dimensions of the physical universe on all the planets. I've been trying to get this across to a few of you. It's much bigger than just saving Earth. But Earth's transformation is part of the formula. And this is because many beings stuck on Earth thinking their bodies have long forgotten who they are, have great potential to create great change when they start operating in the higher worlds again, while they're running bodies on the lower planes of time and space. This is what we're after. We're not after escape. There's no such thing. We're after the freedom that comes with being a conscious Atma, running bodies, knowing we're not the bodies, and then letting the hue come through us to a much greater volume. That's what mastery is. Having the hue come through us in a much greater volume without resistance, because we no longer carry fear and negative nature. This is what mastery is. It doesn't change your core nature as an Atma. You've always been from the source. But it wakes it up so you can utilize and wield the hue, not as something you possess, but something you delight in, the adventure of helping to change life everywhere. Because that's the only real job there is left in all of creation. Even when the lower worlds are mirrors of the upper planes, then we have to change it into something else, something greater and grander than just the liberated lower worlds of time and space. None of us know what that will be yet, because it has not been created yet. The old failed experiment of good and evil must be neutralized permanently to change the way the lower worlds are. Planet Earth, for instance. The energy moving down through the ceiling is a brighter golden light now, and then suddenly you find yourselves in space in a circle of beings. As an Atma, you still can see your physical form across from each other in a circle around Ambassador Trellian, but it is not the physical form you have in the sleep, or the trance state called sleep on Earth. It is the perfect human appearing form, dressed, beautifully handsome, beautiful as a woman, male and female, about 36. It is a prototype in eternity. We always show this to each other. It is our true nature, timeless, ageless. Can you imagine what you could do if you could superimpose that form down over your physical body on Earth and simply have it transform the DNA and molecules of your body into having a prototype on Earth? It's the same as the one that you show each other that's not made of DNA or matter. They can do that. It can be done over a DNA body. It's in the Savior's agenda in one form. Written about when Mark Sandfield and Janice Carter become Sean Roland Moon Terran once again. Their bodies were destroyed. But by going home and retrieving the 4-stranded DNA that was kept stored, certain technology, they could gain those bodies back. If, in the transformative process underway, it serves a purpose. Otherwise, no one will do it. So it has to serve a purpose. The Galactic Alliance doesn't do anything without it being purposeful. They're not like people on Earth. Money is not their motivation. Power is not their motivation. They know the one power is the omnipresent hue expansion ray. That is the power, and it isn't a power anybody can possess, because people who have tried that have become tyrants and then been destroyed by it. Just look at history on Earth. You can see it in every single instance on this planet. Civilizations come and go. Romes rise and fall. Poles flip. Life's destroyed. Bodies get put back on Earth and people come back and run them over and over and over again. So we want to put an end to that kind of yo-yo technology. It's nonsense. The way we do that is becoming aware that we can do that and that we should do that. So that when your body ends one way or another, you'll have a focus to go at least to see Satnam in the first realm above the void. Because once you do that, you don't reincarnate anymore. You're not pushed into a baby body to grow up dumber than a doorbell until you grow up to be 20 and you're basically an adult, and some more of this higher consciousness of mind, mental, emotional, astral body comes through. 20 years? Pretty impractical. Think about it. In other worlds, babies do not wait 20 years to grow up to adulthood. 6 months. Why would they make people wait 20 years? What practical nature could that be? Plus, they do not overpopulate their worlds, because they're conscious. At least far more conscious than people on Earth, certainly. Where we're going in Ra Cause, for one way of calling it, has many names, many levels. There are many planets and places within the second parallel dimension of the universe. Galaxies are slightly bigger and brighter than the Milky Way or Andromeda here, still in the physical universe. Still spaceships. It's more of a, I guess, a little bit more of an emotional influence from the astral plane than we have on Earth. There's more of the white and dark magic, positive and negative use of energy through psyche, through will, than is used on Earth. This is where magic and all that stuff comes from. It's not native to our planet. It's coming through beings who've had experience or lives there, or that go there at night when they're out of their bodies and don't know it. They come back here and go, oh, I'm going to write a book about sword and sorcery. I'm going to write a book about Star Wars 5 million years ago, far, far away in another galaxy. Guess what? It was 5 million years ago, far, far away in another galaxy. Otherwise, the person who wrote it could not have visualized it. He didn't learn it on Earth in his little brain. We don't just make stuff up in our brain cells like that. Think about what I just said. So important. When you imagine anything, it doesn't come from your brain. There's no imaginative faculty there. That's all wrong. That's all theory, what they're taught on Earth, because they don't know. So they make stuff up. They say, oh, imagination, this part of my brain, and somehow by some miracle it sees things. No. It's not the brain's function to see anything. That's not its purpose. You need to know this before we go on these journeys. The body just stays in the trance state. It's safe. It's protected. The hue's protecting it. I did that just to send a little more hue on through all of us, to charge our atmosphere up a little bit more. I can do that. But, I mean, just a few of us is not going to change the whole world overnight. It's going to take billions of beings doing a one-focused hue expansion ray channel to change this planet. The beings are there. The awareness of the beings outside of Earth is there already. We have to catch up with them, not the other way around. In space, around Trillion of Kavum, you can see the Atma. He is quite bright, quite large, brilliant. 2 thumbs up, closed fist, golden white light around about a foot thick. It's creating an oval kind of a transparent field of energy around us, like the hull of a spaceship, as if it was saucer shaped. And it's glowing. The beings standing beside each of you, like Shantiel, Tonaltiel, Dantium, Lamtium, are keeping all of your negative stuff you still have to master, what you would call in the subconscious, turned off for the journey. They just do it. It's effortless. There's no effort for them at all. They leave their bodies on the Emerald Star Cruiser stationed in the ice rings of Saturn and do this for you on their way to going to the higher worlds with us, for their benefit and for the benefit of everyone in the Galactic Alliance. And everyone in the Xeon-Tron-Amon 1 races that run the whole other half of the galaxy. It's for everyone. I don't often mention it, but the Xeon-Tron-Amon couple, Xeon-Tron-Amus couple, go on these journeys often with us. I don't even mention them. Some of you might see them and go, why didn't he mention them? Well, I can't have time to mention everybody on these journeys. It would take us days to go through one journey. When the sound of this deep kind of thunder sound, it's not frightening, it's not like big roaring booming thunder, but it's like the sound of thunder, gentle, consistent, humming. There's a white golden light around us out in space, because all of outer space is not dark blue or black. It's a white golden light everywhere that materialistic things float in like galaxies. All that space, that vast eternal space between galaxies is the Hugh expansion ray. It is divine spirit, is a living power right there in space. Ships have to travel through a living power not from the physical universe in order to get around, or they don't get around. Think about that. Rocket ships with nuclear explosive power can never travel fast enough or go far enough to traverse the stars or visit other planets. It's never going to be practical. Never. We have to use anti-gravitic propulsion systems which utilize the omnipresent hue of space through their designs to get around. You want to go faster than the speed of light? All you have to do is travel in the hue that has no such limitations like a speed of light, and you're there. Speed of light limitations are relative to, in fact, there is no limit to the speed of light, but in relative terms, if all you're traveling in is physical light speed that your eyes can see as human beings, then you're going to be trapped because you can never go fast enough to get anywhere. But in reality, the light coming from other galaxies does not take billions of years to get here. That's all entirely wrong. You might as well know the higher science now and wake it up, because you're not going to learn it in any university on this planet the way it is. Nowhere, no how. Classified scientists who can't tell you what they know about life beyond Earth know about zero-point or toroidal energy, the energy of the universe. They don't understand how to work with it or use it. They just know it's there. And it is what they used to consider to be dark matter, the void of space, which is not a void at all. They're just starting to become conscious a little bit. That might be a living single power somehow. Eta and Din are hovering above Satnam, well, actually below Satnam, but they're hovering above Master Opelium, Master Turelian. Master Opelium's to my right, Master Ramu's to my left, the left side of Peri, near Earth's atmosphere, well, not near, in the orbit around Turelian by Earth, in space. Opelium's on the other side, further out away from Earth, in the circle. Light seas, higher up above Eta and Din, and Master Satnam is standing below a huge hourglass, golden white light whirling vortex with a blue-green watery light revolving slower around it. Looks like water. And that tunnel bypasses the entire vast dimensions of the lower planes of time and space to connect directly into pure energy, the void. We don't mix it up with the positive and good and bad in the astral, causal, mental, and etheric. Your bodies living there do that. We're not doing that on this journey. When you look at the Earth, you see an energy like an aurora borealis, or the northern lights move across it, and it changes. And you see a thing that has small ice caps, not like ours, and has a living moon, 3 of them, around the planet. That's just in the next parallel dimension. And several large continents around the equator. It looks like Earth as far as the oceans, except the oceans are more charged there. They have a bit of a glow above the surface of water on that planet. More magical, you might say. And then you see Earth appear again. 1 moon, dead, barren. Orbits the Earth without turning on its axis. And then you're looking at Land's End in Cornwall, England, the island of England. Northern End. I think that's where it is anyway. And we find ourselves suddenly walking, actually walking above the ground in a circle of beings around Turelian, moving to the back of a farmer's acreage. There's a group of 12 giant oak trees, white oak trees, through a clearing. There's a big stone about 6 foot high or 4 feet high, when it comes to a point. And it's like a perfectly grass covered interior ground, a circle inside these trees. And we're in a circle around that. There's an energy coming down into a crystal, a little multifaceted crystal that appears above the point of this rock. And then it opens into a spiraling doorway, a vertical spiraling doorway that widens until it encompasses all of us. And we're swept inside into a higher parallel dimension of the physical universe. We come out the other end. We find ourselves with Tyrillian casually walking along a glowing emerald green path of grass. The trees are somewhat luminous, more bright. Everything's more alive here. There are beings with wings flying by. There are birds with double sets of wings like eagles flying in the sky. You can see a big crystalline palace off in the distance between two mountainsides down in a valley. There's a little leprechaun figure that comes dancing up the path, just like you think of a leprechaun in Ireland, carrying a little knotty burl cane, a little green hat. He's not got a pot of gold for you at the end of a rainbow or anything like that. He's like a guide. And he's been sent to greet us here. This particular realm on Earth in this place is ruled by a type of a queen. But it's not like a queen on Earth. It's not a tyrant. It's benevolent. It's a more masterful person who governs their world. And this little leprechaun, you look at the body, knotty burl cane, it starts to glow green. And he waves it down the path and then skips off into the distance and vanishes. That's the way of this world. And then you see a couple of tall beings that look like Oceanian people, but they don't have blue skin. They have kind of a gray ivory skin, pointed ears, long hair, blonde or brunette, glowing yellow, green, or red eyes. And there's a couples that have approached us with long sheer gowns on. There's a field of energy around them. They kind of glow a little bit, especially their eyes. So we're in, or the general vicinity of Raha Cause. That would be like a spiritual city or nexus through which master teachers come to visit this person, this ruler, and people. And there are wars here, and there's evil and good, just like on Earth. Unfortunately, it's not what you'd think. But I'd say that this place is much further evolved than Earth people, because negative evil doesn't have the upper hand here, not anymore. So part of why Earth has not been destroyed is because of the nature, spirits, and beings that live here who are able to come through under orders, different doorways, to help keep Earth from destroying itself. Keep enough oxygen in a polluted atmosphere with chemtrails from destroying all life. And they do that. They don't even get any recognition for it, except from their own people when they return. They're always escorted by some master teacher from somewhere. Then you're in a blue-green, foot-thick, marble-glowing oval floor. There's a huge crystalline blue, glass-like domed tower, multifaceted triangular glass panels. And you can see the triple moons. It's dusk at night. There is a being of radiant splendor, long black, silken, brown, black kind of hair. She has a staff with an emerald crystal on it. It's not one of the 3 master crystals of the Ancient One, but it is a magical staff, like a wizard's staff. And she welcomes us here, all of us, including Tyrillian, who she knows of with great respect. She comes down off her seat and bows to one knee in front of Turellian. Turellian takes her hand, lifts it up, kisses it respectfully, and then gives her a little nod. And he says, these are students in training. They are on their way to the source. And she smiles with great delight. She says, in Raha Cause, you are welcome. Not many people from Earth ever come here, she says. The more, the merrier. Look out the window and you'll see actual dragons with beautiful silver-tipped and golden-tipped wings flying along through the sky. They don't attack anybody. In their ancient past they did, but not anymore. They're respected beings. They have vocal cords. They speak, just like people write about. They're more masterful than the human beings and other races on the planet. They don't run human bodies. That's an illusion favored by people who want to make themselves feel good on Earth because they can't remember anything. Well, not yet, anyway. Turellian points up through this multifaceted, kind of an upward pointed dome, and we're projected up through a golden shaft of light. This woman raises this emerald green crystal in her staff, which is a golden staff. It's a spherical, multifaceted, glowing stone. And a beam is shot up into this. She's actually adding her co-creative purpose. It's a big spherical atma, larger than us, hovering above this female. And then we're suddenly shot back out into space. We are in a circle around Turellian where we began, and we're back down seeing the Earth as it is with its polar ice caps. And then Turellian points upward. We see the hourglass-shaped, luminous golden white light vortex with green and blue light whirling around it. There's a flash of light. He smiles at us, and we're shot up that shaft of light, following Satnam and 6 couples of silent mentors surrounding him. They're here to greet us, but they're not going to interrelate with us here. We come out the other end, and we're moving through the vast cobalt blue space with no thing in it that is referred to as the void by certain esoteric groups on Earth who have a vague understanding of it. It's bigger than the lower universes. It's a vast void. It separates the lower worlds of time and space, call it the grand experiment, from the upper realities that have no negative nature, like us. We're fast approaching, spiraling upward, a white diamond-like beach that extends in both directions as far as you can see, until it disappears in the distance of this cobalt blue space. It curves around a massive floating circular landmass. It's like the Hue Expansion Ray Academy just above this top of the realm, Satnam's realm, which is the Atma plane. You see him standing on top of, above these luminous trees along this beach, massive, every kind of fruit tree, every kind of tree on Earth, and many more you don't know about, glowing with transparent golden trunks and luminous leaves, multicolors. The birds with the V-shaped split tails fly up out of the trees out of nowhere. Male and female. One has slightly longer tail feathers. You can figure out which is what. There's a big Atma hovering above these bird-like forms, about a foot long, like a blue jay. Twin sets of bird wings. Rainbow-colored feathers blended with thousands of the spectrum of light colors. Big, bulbous, big blue eyes. And they're just singing to us the hue. Male and female couple hovering in front of each one of us. It's a gift. They're simply doing their job. They're moving the hue from the higher worlds through their being, through these bird-like forms which are not made of DNA or matter or atoms, into the void to maintain it. This whole group of birds maintain the void, round the clock, 24/7, billions upon billions upon billions of years, in terms of Earth. So they're passing this silent mentor ability we're not really grasping onto it. It's just moving through us. So we get a vision, a feeling, a sense of what it's like to be a silent mentor. We begin to learn. And the birds go back into the trees and go about their business. Sounded like millions of men and women's voices singing the hue when they were singing. And Satnam moves over the countryside inland toward a horizontal diagonal, blue stone, snow-covered mountain range, straight as an arrow. We're going past the throne chair that's made like blue quartz, sits below a four-sided, golden-sided quartz-capped pyramid, roof supported by two tall, Greek-like, Roman-like pillars of lapis lazuli, blue stone laced with gold. We pass this transparent-sided, smooth chair with no cushion and come out through a 15-foot-high triangular opening into the background, the base of the mountains. There's a massive fountain, scalloped blue edges 30 feet across, and a Christmas tree-shaped luminous bunch of blue-green light moving up and down, keeping the shape, and a shaft of cylindrical golden white light coming down into it, surrounding it. Trillian takes us all right up that shaft of light, and we come out the other end. We are hovering above and looking down upon the top point of the Hue Expansionary Academy Tower. The vibration has changed completely. We hear the high, single, lilting, haunting, beautiful melody of a flute. For me, it sounds like this. Hue, 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 hue. It just keeps playing. It's the hue moving up and down the plains. In the Expansionary Academy, if you listen to it, it's always playing. Sounds like women's voices, but it's not of the positive and negative nature like men and women. The Expansionary Academy Tower, when you look down, is a big, starts at a round circular base. It's blue quartz-like glass. Comes up as it narrows to about 2/3 of the way up. There's a flattened oval with a big fountain, scalloped blue fountain in it, like the one below. But it's not a Christmas tree light. It's just a white golden shaft of light. And then it goes up to a narrower point, almost as tall as the peaks of the mountains. And it comes out of a circular base of a circular stone island, surrounded by a blue-green, soft, calm, glowing lake, inside the base of these 6 surrounding mountains. In the center of that floor is a 4-foot-high, 2-foot-wide, lapis lazuli stone with rounded, polished edges and a 4-foot in diameter, crystal clear blue sphere with a cobalt blue star radiating in its center. This is a transformer. In fact, all stars in space are transformers. From higher energy to distributed energy out into the planetary systems. The same energy comes from the galactic core to the stars. But all energy that powers stars come from the galactic tube shaft of light at the center of our galaxy. This is higher science, folks. This is the real stuff. This is what you used to know as part of the Galactic Alliance. Common knowledge when you were growing up. This was taken from you. You did not have a say in the matter, neither did I. That too is changing. So we are in the Hue Expansionary Academy looking out in every direction from this high, lofty vantage point. The hourglass-shaped vortex is still above us. It continues all the way up through the plains, many of which you do not know of yet, to Agam Purusha's realm to get permission to go up the tree of life to the source itself, prime creator, the ancient one. This has nothing to do with the gods people worship on earth. This is far beyond their understanding. Fear. Subconscious fear is the only thing that keeps people on earth from remembering any of this. And that's it. Fear does not mix with the hue expansion ray. It supports and surrounds such things as good and bad, but it is not part of them. Neither are we. When you look out over the Hue Expansion Ray Academy, you look down to see its structure. At the base of each of these mountains is a horseshoe-shaped golden glowing tunnel, out of which comes a straight as an arrow white stone road. It goes all the way to the diamond-like luminous beach that surrounds the outer circumference of this huge floating landmass. And what surrounds this floating island like a continent is a cobalt blue space brighter than the one above Satnam's realm, just below here. A blue, slightly tinged green ocean wave is crashing on the western coast, the western roadway. It continues moving clockwise, crashing gently on the beach continuously, circles the outer circumference of the Hue Expansion Ray Academy, comes back to where it started, and never stops. The Hue Expansion Ray Academy has many silent mentor training facilities, one in each quadrant. Up the middle roadway, a right turn 2/3 of the way towards the coast. There are 4 of them. We've been to them before. We'll go to them again. One in the northwest that has giant weeping willow type trees with broad green glowing spoon-shaped leaves. 12 silent mentors always standing above them, showing you their forms with their single colored gowns, male and female alternating. In the spherical atma they are twice as wide in diameter as us. And there's one in the northeastern quadrant. Down the middle road, 2/3 of the way towards the coast, a left turn into another clearing. And in the center of the clearing is a white stone floor, circular, of each of these. There's a blue glass-like sphere of light containing a cobalt blue star in the center, hovering a foot above this floor. In the northeastern quadrant, there is a different type of tree. In the southeastern quadrant, there is a different type of tree. In the southwestern quadrant, there is a different type of tree. I think it's important for you to be run by this, to see this, because you may want to go to one of these places on your own. Always invite a master teacher to go with you. I'm going to run that by you. In the northwestern quadrant, the trees look like giant weeping willows with luminous spoon-shaped leaves. A different type of tree is represented in all 4 silent mentor teaching facilities. In the northeast, luminous giant white oak trees. Southeast, luminous giant eucalyptus trees. Southwest, luminous giant redwood-like trees. This is the prototype form of these trees. They're vastly bigger than anything on Earth. But this is where their origin comes from. As it is represented in the Hue Expansion Ray Academy. The Hue Expansion Ray Academy did not exist up there past 12 years ago or so on Earth. It was put there by silent mentors and master teachers, and my work in order to bring great change about that has never happened before. It has to have a practical administrative basis for working. There is a silent mentor teaching facility down through that spherical blue star above the 4-foot-high lapis lazuli stone pedestal in the center at the bottom of the Hue Expansion Ray Academy Tower. It goes into an oval clearing in the hollowed-out interior of the Hue Expansion Ray Academy. There are 12 trees there too, all like giant weeping willow trees. Sometimes there are white leather-like chairs or beds in between the shaft of white golden light at the center of this interior floor, which is a glowing stone floor. usually where Turelian hangs out, or I will. And then the silent mentors stand above these trees. And this is a different kind of teaching goes on in here. The teaching inside the interior is more about becoming more masterful of all the forms and all the planes, from the source itself to the physical world like Earth. There are other 12 teaching facilities here too. They are clear domes covering 3 golden-sided quartz-capped pyramids surrounding a glowing fountain. Christmas tree-like, like the one in the back of the triangle opening in the back of Satnam's realm, the base of the mountain. And they are positioned offshore, out in the ocean of cobalt blue light that surrounds the shore of the entire huge circular floating landmass of the U Expansion Ray Academy. The sound here is, well, I could describe it as a flute, but it's so beautiful, there is no flute that makes this sound. The sound here is audible to everyone here. It comes from the source itself. How can they forget it? There is a couple of silent mentors, a couple, hovering around or by each of these domes circling the circular landmass. Each one is a separate type of teaching facility. It's always a combination of 3s, 3 into 12, 4 times. Always a combination. So we're touching base with all the silent mentor teaching facilities at one moment while we're in a circle hovering above the U Expansion Ray Academy Tower around Turelian. The shaft of white golden light is passing right through him. We look up, we see the hourglass-shaped vortex. A flash of light from his closed fist with thumbs up, and we are zippity-doo-dah, darting up in a blur of light right up this vortex, straight out the other side, and we suddenly pop out into a powerful, fiery, explosive realm of energy. No floor, no ceiling, no walls, just this fire energy of every color you can imagine, appearing and disappearing, blending into each other. We're in the middle of this. It's roaring around us. This is Agam Purusha's realm. As he approaches us, this massive white golden light with all these layers. It's just massive. And we hear his voice telepathically greet us. We have to get permission from him in order to go through what we begin to see now in the background. It's called the Tree of Life. He approaches us in Turelian. Turelian nods respectfully. I do, of course. And he says, you have permission to journey up the Tree of Life to go home to the source itself. But you don't realize, any of you, which you will, and more so as time goes on, that you're actually going back home for the first time in billions of years and returning to your lives on earth to change things, to be part of the solution at last, instead of remaining part of the problem. This is the opportunity presented to us when we return home, every time we return home. You're going to see me move away from the circle of beings by Turelian. So I was by his side. Satnam was on the other side. And I'm going to merge right inside Agam Purusha till you see my little sphere hovering near the white core of his being. And we're just chit-chatting. We're friends. He manages the raw power of eternity from source and generates it down to the lower planes, all the way to the U Expansion Ray Academy and all the way to Earth. He is the concentric generator of all power. This one being. He's always been here as far as I know. If you want to befriend him, I would have you request it now. He's terrifying. If you didn't have the protection of Turelian on these journeys, you'd be terrified of this realm. But you can't bring fear here. Remember, we don't allow it. You can't bring it into the void, much less all the way here. In the background, you see a massive silver golden tree, taller than planets. branches so big, like the size of planets, roots of the trees disappearing into the fiery realm below. There's no ground. Top of the tree disappears beyond vision, and we're moved right through the branches, past each needle. We stop long enough to see one needle at a time. And in each needle, you see a place located. A planet Nerexum, a planet Zetronomy 1, planet Oceana, planet of the silent mentors out by the seventh spiral arm at the end. You see all these things represented here. Satnam's realm, the Hue Expansion Ray Academy in one of the branches. And then we pass into the trunk of this tree. Powerful golden white light roaring up and down it. And the rest of us in a circle around Turellian in the hull of a spaceship, transparent light, are in the middle of it. We're not harmed by it. It's flowing all around us. Turellian looks up and we're shot upward. We come out the other end into an even more massive, bright, cobalt blue space. There's only one thing in the middle of this realm, way in the distance, a single golden silver galaxy turning on its axis. And everything else is a brilliant cobalt blue space. And everything that looks like stars circling the nexus, the big bulge of a galaxy. As we approach the outer layers and pass between two of them, we realize instantly they are atmas, not stars. Remember, stars and planets and moons and suns are round, made from the image of their creators. This is transparent luminous light. It's not like a planet's surface with mountains and all that. And we pass through this, and we're heading through layer upon layer until we come out into the central third of this interior, like being in the interior third, right in the middle of a galaxy, down inside the center of it. And it's hollow. And there's a white golden light running up and down the center of this white circular island, floating in the middle of it, above which is hovering a massive spherical presence. Thousands of layers of teardrop-shaped lights. And we're moving through the outer layer of these teardrop faculties, if you want to call them that. And we realize they're so far apart, it's like two stars in space. Then we pass into the white core itself, all of us, in a circle around Turellian. I'm by his side. Satnam's here too. And then you hear the voice of Silent One, Prime Creator itself. Sounds like a deep baritone voice mixed with these subtle feminine overtones. It can't be described in human terms. And it begins to speak to each one of you individually. It will say something to each of you that only you are to hear for a few moments. And then it speaks to all of us. Welcome, courageous travelers from the lower realms where you have been suffering in the illusion of being physical forms for countless ages. That is coming to an end. Here you begin to remember you never left. You look up into these massive billions of stars that circle this center, and you realize you're one of them. Trillions of them. You can't count them. Here, you are given a gift. A gift of a certain energy, like a tiny drop that has no negative nature. It is being placed into the white core of your being, and you will bring it back with you through all the body forms you have, the etheric, mental, causal, and astral, and back to your life on earth, to enlighten those forms, to wake them up, to get them working with each other. Now you must return. To stay here longer would end your physical bodies on earth. It's a flash of white golden light. We find ourselves coming down through an aurora borealis, like northern lights that is at the bottom of the void. And we have just entered the etheric plane. And we are in a circle of beings around Turellian, except now you suddenly find yourself as an Atma hovering above a tall body form on a mansion crystalline estate with glowing golden steps on one of 80,000 island universes. And your body is standing there in a trance state called sleep. And Turlian and Satnam appear behind them and give a certain spiritual shock to those forms. And they open their eyes. You are the Atma hovering above it, observing. And it's compelled to look upward and look into the void, which it's never really done. It looks past the void into Satnam's realm, sees the Hue Expansion Ray Academy, and all the way to the void, all the way up to Source and back. Then it's compelled to look down. And as we see it look down, we're suddenly hovering above our mental body. In your case, all of your mental bodies are like the Xiantranamus race, tall, 10 foot tall, ivory white skin, luminous violet eyes, silver-like hair to their shoulders, elegant gowns. They walk and move like swans, longer torsos, longer feet, longer fingers, longer necks, because this is where that form was created, in the mental plane, and now exists in the Xiantranomon one world systems, overseen by a man and a woman who have immortalized physical forms 3.5 million years old. Gee whiz, golly, go figure. And you happen to be scientists, and you have a body formed there like the Xiantranomus, not like your life on Earth. Just happens to be what is for those few of us on these journeys. And that body is standing on a palatial estate, like standing on a world. And it's compelled to open its eyes and look up and see the etheric body looking down on it. It's compelled to look down and see your causal body asleep, standing on one of thousands upon thousands, 80,000 islands, tropical, glowing blue, slightly green, luminous water. Standing on a balcony, a curved disc-shaped balcony. And Turelian and Satnam appear beside it, give it a spiritual shock, it wakens, it looks up, it sees the mental body looking down at the causal body. And it looks down at the astral body, and you suddenly find yourself standing on a blue-green, luminous sandy beach, more blue, a luminous blue ocean, by tropical trees that are alive and alight with light. There's dome complexes, 2 and 3 geodesic dome complexes in the jungle clearing. You're standing on a balcony with your eyes closed, dressed in fine clothing. Satnam and Turelian appear above it. You are still hovering as the Atma above it. Compel it to open its eyes and look up and see the causal body looking down on it. Then it's compelled to look down and see you spherically hovering near the ceiling, looking down on your sleeping body where we began this journey. It is compelling you, the Atma, to look up and see the astral form looking down at you. It can see your body asleep in a chair. The Galactic Alliance couple is still hovering beside you, keeping all your fears turned off. They smile at you and vanish. And from right where you are near the ceiling, you can see them getting their bodies up, waking them up out of blue egg-shaped cushioned chairs on a blue carpeted floor in one of the lounge areas aboard the Emerald Star Cruiser in the ice rings of the planet Saturn in our solar system. That is how they went on the journey. They can't take a spaceship where we went. They smile at you and go about their business. The golden white light we brought back is flowing through the ceiling where this journey began. It's flowing down through your sleeping body and out through the walls of your home into Earth's atmosphere to charge it on its way to enter 3 fountains. Satnam statue fountains in the center of 3 golden-sided quartz-capped pyramids stationed on Earth. One at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean, one at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, one in a hollowed-out interior of a mountain hidden in the Himalayan mountain range. Beams are sent from those through the walls of a pyramid to become one beam that is projected to the asteroid field that circles in the orbit of what was a planet between Mars and Jupiter. That was called Maldek. It was blown apart a long time ago. It is stationary, a big pyramid with a quartz cap, golden sides, is stationarily hovering, gravitationally bound to two stable asteroids, moving in the orbit with the entire asteroid field around the sun in the orbit of what was a planet. That's how it got there. The beam from this bigger pyramid is sent all the way through space, through pyramids now appearing between individual stars, connects into the galactic shaft of the galaxy, which is an interdimensional portal, as you know, and up the shaft all the way back to source where we just came from. And it moves through us and never stops moving. It only moves in one direction now. Positive and negative appear to move in opposing forces in different directions. The Hugh expansion ray does not do that. We are made of the Hugh expansion ray. We exist of that energy. So we have returned. When you're ready, you can awaken your physical bodies and open your eyes. We are still recording. So you got to have your wish fulfilled, Kwan. Raha cause, that's what you were trying to remember. Pretty interesting place. A lot to explore there. Don't want to get lost there, though. It's a big place. So endeavor to bring or ask a master teacher to go along with you when you go visiting that place, okay? Hang out with the right people is what I'm telling you. Play it safe. Do any of you have any questions? Perry, Guan, V? Not a single question? You know
I do have one question.
Okay, good.
I know that we have one, we never leave the source, right?
You're still there. Not really. No, you're still there.
Yeah, and whenever we go on the journey and then we went to the source, do we merge with what like the Atma or anything that we are with the source? I don't know how to explain it, but like we never leave the source, and whenever
the source, you at the source does not need rehabilitation. It's already there. The rest is a kind of an illusion because we are multi-dimensional, capable, spherical beings. We can run bodies in all the levels. The point is we weren't supposed to be trapped unconsciously in them. That was never meant to happen, but it did. So when you go there as the Atma, you're taking, in a sense, a part of your physical, astral, causal, mental, and etheric limitations, consciousnesses, and plugging them into the source energy. So that as the Atma, it's like the Atma that's revolving around the center is waking up more enlightenment within itself to be able to run those forms as an Atma all consciously. That's what was meant to happen. So your astral body is not running around like it is now in the astral plane thinking it's got a limited 1,000-year lifespan. There's wars and fears. No, this overrides all of that. Does that make sense? You bring back this awareness. Try not to think of yourself in terms of being one of the bodies you're running. You're running them, you're responsible for them. But you're not any of those bodies. You're this spherical presence. It can be spherically present over your astral, causal, mental, and etheric all simultaneously while it's hovering near the ceiling above your body on Earth. You can't think in terms of like your unearthed body. The app isn't limited in that way. It runs a number of bodies on a number of dimensions. You're supposed to remember this. It's part of your, I don't want to say training, part of your recovery would be a better way to put it. Because you haven't lost any of this. You've just been one way or another compelled to forget it over a long period of time on each plane. So we're waking all those forms up you're running. Your emotion all comes from the astral life you're living. All emotion moves matter there. It doesn't come from your physical life on earth, emotion. Your thoughts and mentality, your brilliance does not limit it to what you learned in school in one brain in one lifetime. That's absurd. None of us are so limited. That's why we can write and do things that are way out of this world. Because it's not the life and personality we have in this life that's doing any of that. We are doing it through the brain and body we're running. That's how it really works. That's what imagination is. You can imagine anything from wondrous to terrible, and it exists somewhere in the universe. If it's horribly sadistic, you can find it on Earth or in the lower astral plane. Dimensions there. The question is, where do we want to deliberately focus our attention? On fear of the present and future, good and bad, and get stuck? Or do we want to stop doing that and start focusing on that which is of great goodwill to our all life? That's what we want, right? Everybody's the same that way underneath all the bullshit, pardon my language. We're all the same in this. You get to strip away fear and negative nature, and you have this luminous spherical presence that knows how to be a co-creator with Source. It's pretty simple. Now, do you have any questions?
I don't have a question, but I have experience to share. I think will benefit whoever watch this video.
Sure.
This is not the first time, but it's become more clearer and clearer that as the Atma, I see all creation as prime creator. I see everything happening exists in all dimensions, in vast creation. Up lower worlds and the upper worlds, and whenever I want to focus somewhere, I just see it. It's like that. I only know that I see everything, all creation in the same time. And during the journey, I would say I see something like the pictures, the images, like thousands in the same time, happening everywhere.
That's the Atma, not Perry.
Right.
But Perry's becoming aware of what the Atma is aware of, because the Atma you are is enlightening the physical presence you have on Earth that didn't learn any of this growing up. I didn't learn any of this that I share with you. How to write these books. I never went to college to learn how to write books. I did it out of nowhere, out of nothing on Earth, from beyond Earth, because it's the only place I could go get it and bring it back here as an Atma. It was the only way. That's really the only way it works. When you do it that way, there's no ego or ego trips. You can't go get stuff like this like a tyrant, like a Hitler, and want to blow people up and stuff. You would never be aware of it. No freedom exists in such thinking. So when we start thinking and feeling and seeing and mentally working collectively together from Source down through the planes, everything begins to change permanently. It cannot be reversed.
I have a question on the way to Source. Suddenly I saw a long arm, like cross over. I feel like cross over the head, not human arm. I don't know, animal, some kind. I think as a master that takes something away out from me,
If you were standing in that body, I don't know how tall you are exactly, but whatever your height is, and Terrellian showed up on Earth, he'd be 18 feet tall above you. His arm would be many times larger than your whole body. His arm could pass over your head and not even really touch anything. Just his energy would remove something if he wanted to. And it would be like a giant arm. So that's got to be, I would say, that arm is coming through beings or from Source through beings for a purpose. You don't have to figure out why or how. You just have to trust yourself first and it as well. It's hard to do that when you aren't trained to trust the Source beyond all. You're supposed to pray to it or worship it or be afraid of the devil and run towards heaven, which is an illusion because you can't live in opposites and actually get free. It's impossible. So beings on Earth, some know it, many just are trained, misdirected to train people to think in terms of heaven and hell, good and bad, because then they can control people for money. It's really just about money or income, really. So if you had a planet that did away with money, what do you think it would be like? It wasn't needed. Nobody wanted it. Nobody would take it. You can't even conceive of what that would be like, right? That's normal on a lot of worlds outside of Earth. So you might as well get used to it. Because eventually it's coming here too. Any other questions?
Yeah, I like with what Perry saw here because she is very, very advanced. And for me, I'm like very beginner. I'm the beginner to start. I try to imagine whenever I go on the journey, I try to imagine myself as the Atma and tell myself that sometimes I cannot see anything, but I try to tell myself that I'm the Atma and Atma can see everything. So
Yeah, see, that's all wrong. That's not you.
Wrong.
That's subconscious fear talking. You see everything I described clearly, or you're not. I'm not just sharing this, and you sit there and go, "I don't see anything." Well, of course you don't see anything. Is your body asleep, or are you keeping it kind of awake behind your eyes? Because the body doesn't go on these journeys. It can't see any of it. Only the Atma sees this on the journeys and brings back that awareness to your life on Earth. That's why you'll understand more about this when you've do the journey a second time. It will be on my YouTube channel. It'll be on Perry's YouTube channel. It's for the public. So do it a second time and then just look and listen to what you experienced. Not Quan on Earth.
Yeah, I mean, the more I take the journey, the more visualized I can be, you know. But
I'm trying to tell you something, but you're still not letting yourself see it. There's a block there. It's just simple. You're saying, "I don't see anything." That's not you talking. That's your mind. That's a program talking. That's a program limited to your physical consciousness. It's not who you are, and it's not truthful or honest. You see everything we did on this journey, Quan, in detail. You're the Atma. You saw what I described when I was describing it. Don't tell me you didn't, because I know you did. You have to bring that back to your Quan on Earth and let her absorb it, take it in, and begin to acknowledge that you see it for her and you're seeing it because of you transmitting this to your life on Earth. See?
What is he trying to say again is Quan? You go back to watch the videos a second time. This will bring the ability back to your physical body.
Yeah. But you have to have fun with it the second time. With childlike wonder. I mean, play with it. Enjoy it. Have a drink, have a meal. I don't care. Play it. You just take note. Look and listen to everything that was said. Much took place in this journey that I know Quan does not remember. Because Quan didn't go on the journey. You did. V didn't go on the journey, his body, he did. Perry's body didn't go on the journey, mine didn't. We did together as, okay, I'm going to show it to you again because it needs reminding. That's what you look like. You notice that it's round and it's like planets and stars and it's round because that's what we are. But we're pure energy that way. We're not physical DNA or atoms. Atoms make up physical universe, makes up all the different levels of atomic structure from below the void through all the planes, all at different vibrational levels. But it's all the hue behind it, supporting it. One living conscious power behind everything. And we are from the source of that power as individual Atma beings, spherical. That is what goes on the journey. That is what sees. That is what knows. Your physical appearing form that's perfect about 36 is not DNA or matter. It's not called Quan or V or Perry or Scott. And that form knows as a physical appearing form the journey because it's a projection from the Atma. It's how we show ourselves to each other. That form can communicate to the form you have on earth and get it waking up, accepting that it sees and knows. Because the Atma is communicating that seeing and knowing to your brain and body and personality on earth. It's putting it out in the electromagnetic field that surrounds you. So you can look at it and see it as the white core of your being. See it around you. It isn't Quan that goes on the journeys, or Perry, or Scott, or V. It is you. The real you is not limited to one dimension or one body. It never has been. The illusion, the Maya, of the positive and negative ways of splitting our consciousness to think in good and bad terms is what gets in the way of knowing. Because that's negative, and negative nature does not mix with the Atma or the omnipresent you. They don't mix. One is behind and supporting positive and negative illusion, but what we are is not part of that illusion. It should be kept external from us, and it is in the field of energy that surrounds the Atma, what we call the electromagnetic field, the toroidal field that circles it, like it does planet Earth or the galaxy itself. That field of energy is where all the little problems are, little images of distortion and misdirection, where you look it through it, and you've been used to looking through at the universe that says, no, I can't know, no, I'm stuck, I'm a body. It's a program. And you've been taught to listen to that program. The whole world's news systems are set up to make you listen to that program. And you're supposed to just, okay, I know, that's an illusion. I'm not listening to that anymore.
And Scott,
Huh? What?
today I saw many confliction between you and I many lifetimes too.
Well, I'm sure there is, but who cares? Does it really matter to us what was before?
No, but just to know what's going on.
Oh, well, I hope it's helpful. Makes it more harmonious for us, right? Yeah, those little bits of dirt, they're being washed out. And we don't have control over it. I don't even want control over it. I let that go to the hue, source itself. Go ahead, take over. I know I'll screw it up if I do it just on my own. So I don't do it on my own anymore. Does that make sense? I'd rather plug into the whole thing and have its genius and wisdom running through me than me trying to operate as a drop from an ocean that got flipped out onto the hot sand is going to evaporate in the heat. I want to jump back into the ocean and have access to the whole thing. Make sense? Does that make sense to you, V? Yeah. You're a spherical drop from a mighty ocean. You're taking that sphere and putting it back in the ocean is what you're doing. After billions of years, you're finally returning to put yourself back in the ocean. It's as natural as breathing. May seem weird to you, but that's the you that's the body, not you, the Atma. Any questions?
Okay.
Go ahead, V.
Please.
One first.
What?
Okay, thank you. I just would like to share that I listened to one of your journeys with the English journey, and you mentioned that for the medical terms, whenever people have the medical treatment and then they have the anesthesia, that kind of chemical or medicine can force the Atma to go out of the body so that the patient...
Talking about anesthesiology. Gas in an operating room or even an injection. Right. Those are poisons. They're not deadly poisons. They're just poisonous in that the body... They don't even know that that's what's happening. They just stumble upon these substances so that you don't feel pain when you're operated on, fixing broken legs. Because you're not in the body to feel the pain. The body feels it, records it in the genetic structure, but you're not there. So kind of a blessing, but a problem is with operations is when you're out of your body, doctors and nurses can say and do anything. And in the recorded journey, while you're out of your body, that everything equals everything else. So depending on what they say, you can come out of an operation bent or twisted more than you were, or better off, surely by random chance. See, if they knew to keep their mouths shut when they're operating and play beautiful, uplifting music, that would have a good effect on operations. They don't do that. It's all trauma, you know. Healing physical bodies or changing them is nothing for an awake Atma. No effort at all. So what's in the way of doing that? Little bits of dirt and fear from past lives and other journeys, and that's all. Nothing else. People don't want to give up all their little bad habits of fear. They're desperate to hang on to them. That's why they cling to religious beliefs, because they don't really want to become a co-creator with Source. They just want to be taken care of like children, I suppose. And that's okay for a while, but eventually we have to grow up. We're supposed, people on Earth don't realize what their purpose for existing is all about. It's about becoming a conscious, trustworthy co-creator with the Source. That's it. There is no other purpose for existence than that. Because when you do that, you're capable of helping vastly greater amounts of everything change. And that's all there is to it. The beings who are already free as we would think of it, like Torellian and others, do not place themselves above others. They don't do that because they don't work with egos. They've dropped negative nature. They don't have subconscious minds. So eventually you see what we're doing with them rubs off on us. And we're going to let go of that subconscious field of energy at one point and never take it back. It's one way. Does that answer your question? V, you have a question.
I have two questions. The first one, why do I cry or feel crying whenever thinking or you saying about the beings, the masters, the silent mentors in
It's
upper world?
relief. Crying it's not a sad crying, it's a crying of joy. It's a release of suppressed energy. Every
It's
time.
like
Yeah.
thankful for their selfless dedication
Exactly.
for life, something like that. Why do I?
But that's a good crying. That's not a bad crying. That's a good crying. It's a release. You're getting back more of the energy of who you are. You're expressing it through, I would say, joyful tears. Okay? Perfectly fine. Doesn't have anything to do with bodies. Doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. It's just a relief. It's relieving suppressed energy, bringing it to the surface. It's a good thing. Any other questions?
And the second one, it happened a few days ago in my dream. I've been realizing and questioning about how do we identify that which dream was the future, which dream was in another parallel universe, something like that, because it fell between that in a few days ago in my dream.
No, we just went to a parallel dimension tonight. We went to Raha Cause, second higher parallel dimension of the physical universe, before we went on the rest of the journey. That is going there. Put it this way, when we go on these journeys, you're out of your body having a conscious experience that otherwise you would bring back as a dream and wonder if it was real or not. There's a difference. These are conscious out-of-body journeys while the body sleeps. They're very different than just you waking up with a dream. That's good, but this is better. Now when you play this back, Quan and V, you will discover a lot took place that you You just let yourself know you were there looking at it, experiencing it. And you brought this awareness of this journey. It's recorded back with you to Earth, to your life on Earth. Now you've got to let it do a little bit of work and let it seep in. You have to educate, enlighten the body you have on Earth. The Quan and the V and the Peri and the Scott. The Atma brings back what it's capable of multidimensional knowing and seeing to a body that hasn't learned any of this growing up. It's simple. It's perfectly okay. And I tell you, Quan, you're seeing everything. You just have to stop denying it. It's not the Quan that went on the journey, it's you. You are not the Quan body, okay? You're not the Quan body, you never were. You're just running one for now. You are an Atma. You are a soul. You are a spherical being made of energy. It is not physical. It's not nuclear. It's not atomic. It doesn't have a brain or a nervous system. It doesn't need one. But you run them. Does that make sense? Okay. Thank you for having the courage to go on this journey, and Perry for being there to set it up. And I will see you all on the flip side. Oh yeah. And one of these. Okay, we'll bring this recording to a stop.